Hey, welcome to Leverage WP. This is an example of a project I'm working on and recording for the benefit of the Leverage WP community. If you want to, come over and check out our community website at community.leveragewp.com, and you can look on the homepage at some of the things that we've been talking about and issues I've been helping with inside the community. It's a founding member's price right now, so if you want to, come check out the sign up button, and it'll go over everything that you get by signing up for the community, and you can join us in here and get some help for yourself. I'll be expanding on this project inside of the community and posting some of the teasers here on YouTube, but I welcome you to come and join us in the community. It's an awesome place to get help, have me as your backup, maybe even as a member of your team as you work on projects and learn WordPress and other technical stuff. Welcome, Leverage WP community, to another video where I'll be working on a live client site in a staging area. And this one is, this first introductory video is just to show how I'm going to prepare to begin this complete site redesign using PDFs from a digital marketing company, an SEO and social media company that they've hired. And so I'm getting a design that I didn't make, that is presented to me with a PDF as well as the files for the images needed. So let's figure out how to get started by taking a look at the original site and then seeing what I've done so far and how I'm going to proceed to safely do a redesign of this site while the user won't see anything. It'll be a no downtime changeover. So the first thing is, let's just take a look at what the original site looks like. One thing I'm looking at is I have this particle kind of animation happening where it's just a kind of an interesting little, quirky user interaction that you get on this website, and it's kind of like an engineering and very precise look. But we're getting rid of that, and we're in favor of a new image, and I'll show you in the PDF right here. It's got a new header, as you can see, and then a static background image with a message here, and then we can get into the different page sections that they're presenting to me here. And so first things first, looking at the site itself, first I went over to GridPane, and asecengineers.com is the web address, but I'm over here under staging in my GridPane account, and I've just done a live push from the live site over to the staging site. So I went down here and I found my staging site, and I clicked live to staging, and it left me a message here, and I allowed the staging push as well as selected all files in a complete database. Now I've already done that and got my success messages, as you can see up top here. And so when I click the single sign-on little W here, it opens up and signs me in right here at staging.asecengineers.com. So you can see the staging subdomain there. And I make sure that I don't have the live website open in a different tab right alongside, because you don't want to start editing that instead of the staging site by mistake. So I've closed all of my live site tabs, and I'm on the staging site, which is behind a login protector. So we have this force login plugin activated, and when you do a an auto login from here at GridPane, it just gets you past that force login plugin. This means that Google, the search engines, or the members of the general public can't find or see this staging site while I'm working on it. So it's behind that force login plugin. So one thing I know is that I have a lot of updates, 18 updates right now on this site, as well as the core version of WordPress. And in particular, in this site, I've been holding off because on this home page full width header, I'm using a plugin that I got quite a while ago, a few years ago, and when I tried to do a WordPress update to version 6, I had a plugin conflict that was breaking this header. And so I've held off for a little while, knowing that we were going to get a redesign going in the next few months. And so that time has come. And so the first thing I'm doing is just going here under plugins, and I'm going to deactivate the custom full width header extended. Divi Web Design is a great company and they make great Divi extensions. This one in particular isn't working with my full width header right now, so I'm just going to deactivate it. We're not going to need it in the new homepage design. And so I just deactivated that. Let's see what happens over here if I refresh the page. Right, we've got just some short codes because that plugin is just deactivated, and this is the whole full width header section. So let's just go from the home page and click Enable Visual Builder. And I'm just going to start by replacing this module, which is a full width header extended module. Doesn't exist anymore. And instead, I'm going to add just a full width header standard core Divi module. So full width header can fit inside of the full width header. Excuse me. It can sit inside this section, which is a full width header section, a full width section. So if you were to add a section, it's the purple kind, the full width section. Which just means that all content inside of the full width section goes to the full width of the user's screen, and it's not in a kind of a boxed layout in the content width, which you can see defined on the left and right of this text right here. But the full width section, when you add a module, it only gives you full width type modules. There's a smaller subset of modules that only work with the full width section. So that's what we're working with. So I added a full width header, and it's right up here. I'm just going to go ahead, and I don't want this yellow background, and I want the entire section filled with a background image. But if we go with the full width header, it gives us some features: a body, paragraph, a title, a button 1 and 2, and then there are images here. We have logo image and header image. And so I think what we want to do is go down to background first. Instead of having this background color, let's just go ahead and undo that color. So there's no background color, but we want a background image. And so let's add the background image I have already. What I've done is open it in Photoshop here. And you're just seeing part of my Photoshop screen. There we go. It's a better view of Photoshop inside of the recording window. But I've got the image here, which was a JPEG image, and it looks like I've got to crop out a little white line down here at the bottom. Let's just use the magnifier. I'll hit Alt in Photoshop and just take a look. Yeah, there's some weird cropping happening where there's a white border just on the bottom of this image. So I'll bring it down to where it fits on the screen. And then let's just crop it. So actually the first thing I'm going to do is save it as a PSD file. So a Photoshop file, so that all my changes aren't breaking changes. Oh, I already do have it saved, so I don't have to save it right there, but let's go ahead and cancel that. Since I have just the JPEG, let's go ahead and open that Photoshop file. I haven't done any edits on it at all. So let's use the magnifier. I'll right click there and fit on screen. Actually, I'll take it one down from that so that when I do my little crop, I'm just using the marquee select, and I'm going to bring it not quite to the bottom. Image crop. Other image editors can do this, like Pixlr, pixlr.com, can do this sort of thing. And let's see, I think I have a 2400 pixel width, which is great for a full-size background image like this. And so now I'm going to export it as a JPEG and just make sure and size the file size for exactly what I want. 400K, it's a little big. I know that an image like this I could bring down to, probably 156. It'll look awesome. I could look at it here if I do want to look at it at full size. Looks great. I don't see anything wrong with that. So go ahead and export it at 156. Let's put it in the right place. ASCC. This is the date. I got the design changes. It's an image. And it's this Hero 1 And what I'm going to do is just append a -web at the end of the file name. That's how I keep my already processed images for the web or for websites organized with their file names like that. Okay, so let's go back down. Background image inside this full width header. Can upload a file. Let's go ahead and find it. Back to where I was at ASEC. Inside of images, there's my web extended file name. Just go ahead and let that upload. Use it as the full width background. That's great. And let's see, let me just look at the, let me look at the entire site. Move this over just a little bit. Right, so this image already has the Power Delivery Specialist's words in it, so that's interesting. If they don't want those, don't necessarily need those words, listed under their search and search engine results pages and be found for that, that's fine. We could, we'll probably just, I might be able to just use that image then. But I'll leave the full width header module here in case we do want to put some interactive or at least some findable text. For now, I'll just take each of these out of here. All the content out of this full width header, which then, its height is defined by the amount of text and other imagery inside of this module. But what I want to do maybe is, should I do the section as a full height section? Or shall I use the module itself and extend it up? Probably I'll extend the module because I'll want I'm going to extend the minimum height of this full width header module. So if I want to go to sizing, I want a minimum height on here instead of auto, coming to a nice size where I want the bottom of it to be right at the bottom of the screen. Let's just start with 700 pixels for now. Oops. But you can also do something like viewport height. Let's see what happens if I go VH. Oops. VH in units. So 70, that might be 70%. 100% view height. Let's see. Something's happening with the width of that. Oh, there we go. It's full width. But the height on my current size screen goes off the bottom just a little bit. So, yeah, I think that would look better with, say, maybe 80. Oops. It wants to do pixels, but I can enter VH for my viewport height. Let's just leave it at that for now. No, it's going to get cut off at the bottom. So you know what we want to do maybe is have it try, let's try 100%. Always experimenting. That doesn't actually work, does it? Well, let's try something different. Let's experiment a little bit here. And let's work on the section a little bit. Let's see. Oops. As far as sizing of this section, maybe I do a height. That's not the viewport. No. Oh, that doesn't even move anyway. It doesn't move the module, just the section. So I don't want to do that either. Let's go ahead and leave that out of it. Let's play with the size again here. And this is something that I'll probably revise as we go and maybe argue that they need some searchable text instead of having text inside of the image, which isn't able to be found on Google or by the Google bots. So let's just do a minimum height in pixels. I don't know why the image itself is not showing fully. Unless I have to go a little bit taller. It's all about the image proportions. Like that, goes into the black. Let's leave it at about low 800s. 800 exactly. All right, just save that for now. Looking good. All right, let's exit the visual builder. See what that looks like as far as a header. And I'll be redoing this header or as a hero image, right? And so then when we go down here, we're going to have some different stuff. I'm just going to start there. And then now that I have that old plugin out of the way, I can go back into here. I just clicked the updates. And let's go and look at what needs to be updated and start taking a look. I'm not afraid of Divi. Divi actually has a restore to previous version. 4.1 to 4.9 goes pretty far. So before I do that, I'm just going to take care of a few other things that are easy. Just my backup themes. In case Divi gets disabled for some reason, we'll have a theme that can be re-enabled right away or will be enabled. Let's go back to the updates page, and I'll continue to do some updates like this and then look at the live site to make sure it's still looking good and working at the different stages. So right here I'll take a few plugins that I don't think I really trust they're not going to break anything on the site. Don't even need Migrate Guru, I'll just delete that. Let's do this little group. What do I have? A group of 5, and update those 5. Once that updates, I'll just refresh over here. There we go. Looks to be working. Just look at one other page. Yeah, things are looking good and loading fast. So I'll go through this stage again. Now Divi Booster I'm just using for one tiny particular thing. I'm going to hold off on that for now. I saw Migrate Guru is there that I don't really need. I think we're getting away from the CRM and client management portal of WP Client, but I'll leave that for now just as its original version. Maintenance mode, not really using. Outgoing email. So I'm going to leave a few things, not using Snapshot either. I'm going to update just a couple of things and do another check. And then I'll do some more of these one at a time, and I will completely disable and delete some of these plugins we won't be using moving forward. Maybe go back to home. Now, if you're updating and you refresh the page and it hadn't finished, it would show you just a white maintenance mode screen and say try again. And usually it will just come right back up as long as the update's finished properly. So if I go back to the updates page, let's go back to, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of a couple of plugins that I don't necessarily need to update. Migrate Guru and Snapshot I'm not using anymore. I'm using Updraft Plus instead for backups. So let me go to plugins. Caldera Forms. There's a bunch that I'm going to go ahead and delete. But first, let's see. So Migrate Guru is not activated. Snapshot's not activated. Maintenance mode I'll just leave there. I like this version of a maintenance mode plugin in case I need one. Might as well. Using Smush Pro, Migrate Guru, Caldera Forms, License Manager and Forms. Not going to be using full width header or perky animate anymore. I'm just choosing ones that are deactivated right now to go ahead and delete. I don't need better search replace anymore. I use that sometimes when I do manual site migrations. It was left over. I do like Brand Up Pro sometimes if people are going to be getting in there and using the site to make blog posts, so I'll just leave it for now. One of the WPMU Dev paid plugins, part of my membership. But for now, I'll just choose those and go ahead and delete all those plugins that are checked. Am I sure? Yes, thank you. There we go, working its way down. Deleting those plugins. All right, great. So now, let's see. Just make sure if I go to one of the interior pages that things are working. Yep. Yeah, looks great. I did update the Forms plugin. Make sure this working application for employment is working. Yeah. Need signature line in the Forminator plugin. All right, looks good. I do use this back to top button. Let's go home again. Now, Divi Booster, what was I using that for? I had, you know what I had was a floating notification inside here. Oh, you know what? I also have, as a part of one of the pages, our history, I believe. Yeah, I was just using this for a customized icon inside of a blurb module. I made these icons in Photoshop, and that's all I'm really using it for. So I'm going to be reorganizing this, so I'll get rid of that plugin eventually, but not quite yet. So the rest of these, WP Client, I'm going to go ahead and update these two and leave Divi Booster and WP Client unupdated for now, because I'm likely moving away from them. I don't want them to conflict with my redesign or anything. Once I'm able to deactivate, when I redesign that one history page, I'll be able to just get rid of Divi Booster also. Alright, so let's see, now that I updated those, just take a quick, again, reload the home page just to look. Wouldn't expect anything to happen. Now, let's just, I know before I update the core version of WordPress, let's look at from 418 to 494. Now, I know that if I had to, I could go here under Divi Theme Options, and then over on the right side under Updates, you can restore the previous version. So I'm going to go ahead and, I'm also, remember, working at the staging subdomain. So I'm updating Divi from 4.18 to 4.9. Just make sure WordPress dashboard is working. That looks good. Let's just do a refresh of the home page. And nothing should have really changed. Divi's really good about backwards compatibility for things, and I've stopped using, very many third-party plugins. Look at that. Actually, that's funny. The icons broke in Divi Booster when I updated my Divi version. That's funny. So let's just see. I might just delete this plugin anyway during this staging update, but let's see if I update Divi Booster. Will it make the icons work again in Divi? Nope. Oh, it did. Okay, great. Divi Booster. Kudos to you. Let's look at the plugins page. I've gotten a lot of use out of Divi Booster on several sites over the years, thanks to Dan. So it did update actually, but it's just not reflected here. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Videos page. I know I had added a Vimeo video as well as there's a YouTube embed as well. Okay. Looking good. I'll just go back to the home page. Let's look at where we are as far as updates. We just have that one WP client. We're not even really using it. I'm going to go ahead and update to 4.8 on WP client. There's no pages that the client is using inside this ASEC portal, which gives areas for clients who are members, portals for different clients of theirs, meant as a portal to do things. And the employees have a page here. That's possible that under the employees page, yeah, it goes to portal. And so for me, being logged in, I just get the entire WordPress dashboard. But that's the one place we are using ASEC portal. All right. So what would happen? Let's see if I wanted to go. Let me go back from the home page. As a non-logged in user, I'll open an incognito window in Chrome here. Paste that URL and go to the home page. Oh, it's because of the force login plugin. I could undo that just to check this real quick. I don't think I have to. I'm going to leave it for now. While we're working on the staging site, I'm not going to deal with that. I'll deal with that employees page later as we go through our update process. But keep in mind, the live site is up and unchanged right now. If I just go to asecengineers.com, you're getting the original site. You got this little scroll, and so we're making some pretty major changes. I'm just leaving this live. I'm going to go ahead and close that because this is the one we're working on right now at the staging subdomain. So I'm just going to leave it there. We're having a meeting tomorrow, and now that I've updated all the plugins, there's one last one, and the Divi theme. One last update, and then I'll check, and then we'll go into a new video. And I do have multiple backups in place right now. I know that none of my plugins were conflicting or anything, at least in the 5.7 version. Now that I'm at 6.0.2, looks good in the dashboard. Let's just do a quick refresh on the home page. That does look good. Here I'm scrolling. Looks nice. Okay, I'll just check one more page. How about that history page with the custom icons? Still working. All right, looks good. So we'll have a meeting with the client tomorrow, and I have this PDF resource, and I'll go in the next video and look at all the different content we have to enter, as well as looking at how I'm processing the images and everything. Here I'm looking at text that was in an email I've got in Notepad now, which says some notes about the PDF off the homepage design. So this is the header. We'll do an intro section, a testimonial section, services, etc. And I'll show you how I revise this using the Divi visual builder here in the staging site. All right, so that was an overview working on a real live website of a client that I actually work with right now. It's one of my higher end clients, and so this redesign is likely going to come within their paid website care plan because it's only going to take me a couple of hours, and I'll include that for them. Not every month this much work, but I've gone through probably 6 or 8 months without doing really any work for this client except keeping WordPress mainly updated and secure and high performance and fast, and doing my monitoring so that it's up and working. They get job applications through that careers page, and it's a great working site that keep following along as I do edits and keep updating at the staging site, and then we'll finally take it live by the end of the month. All right, see you next time.